All right, welcome to another episode of Design on Purpose, and we're back here with my neighbour, Amy Rainbow Skates. Welcome,
Thank
Amy.
you for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. Actually, we're here in your room across the hallway, so I think it's a thanks for having
And it's
having
only
me.
taking 2 hours to set it all up.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? So, I mean, that's the beauty of having the mobile setup, but it's just something that I'm kind of like getting used to, you know.
I think we did well.
I think we did well. I think we jazzed it up a bit. Got a bit of rainbow vibes going on in here. So yeah, like Amy, I was very interested about your story. You know, like you know, being in Bali and Canggu and traveling around and meeting so many interesting people who are in the content creation space, and people who are actually following their passions and turning it into a career. And yeah, when I got talking to you the other day and I seen you walking around with your tripod, I was like, oh wow, like what do you do? And then I discovered something very interesting about you. So can you tell us a bit about what industry are you in?
When you really, 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 really love something and you have the drive, you can turn anything into your job. I mean, the reason I first became like, you know, a professional online roller skating instructor was because I saw someone selling bonsai tree courses online. And I was like, if someone can teach you how to grow a bonsai tree and you have to plant the seed, then you have to wait 6 months for it to grow.
Like 100 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really evergreen program.
But that's what made me think, well, if someone is, you know, charging $2,500 for this bonsai tree course, I have had a skill that I've been doing my entire life, and I can teach that online too. So thus began my journey of being a online roller skating instructor.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. I think that's really inspiring, you know, because it's like, I think I've mentioned a little bit about what I do, and I'm really all about purpose and, you know, connecting people to their purpose. Done a lot of work with organizations, connecting them to purpose. And I think like a lot of the time people are too scared to actually take the risk to turn their passion or the thing that they really love into a career or a job. And it's like, you know, to take that leap and just to go for it and do it in all faith that, you know, you've got something valuable that you can share with the world. You can turn it into something which is gonna, you know, give you an income and you can build a community out of. So how did you start when you had that realization of the bonsai tree? People, I don't even know what the business is called, but how did you start? Like, how did you connect the dots and then start your business?
I think it all happened so organically. You know, years and years ago, I was a bartender. So I was just waiting tables, pouring drinks.
With roller skates or no?
Well, actually, I did
people that do that.
Roller skate with lights on my head outside a nightclub for something ridiculous like £9.40 an hour.
Oh, wow.
You know, and considering, you know, when I was younger, I was like the British champion of artistic roller skating.
You were?
Yeah. When I was younger, I was like, you know, the best in the country and competed.
Have you seen Australia's breakdancing skill?
Yeah.
We're pretty good.
You are pretty good. You're way up there.
Anyway, sorry. So keep going.
So yeah, I was roller skating outside a nightclub with lights on my head, not knowing my true worth. I was like, brilliant, I get to skate outside a nightclub, and that's awesome. Little did I know that I had way more to offer than just selling people shots. Then I became a bartender, and I started just doing the normal 18-year-old thing where you get your first like bartending job. And I had no idea where I was going to go with life. And I would tell my friend, Samira, I would ask her like, how you get to DJ, you get to do your thing. You know, where's my DJing? And she would say to me, Amy, it's roller skating. It's roller skating. Is that not obvious to you? And I'm like, no, I can't ever like make a job out of roller skating. That isn't possible for me. Roller skating is not big enough. And she would be like, it's roller skating. Mark my words. A few years later, obviously COVID happened and all that craziness. And I started just roller skating during lockdown. And I made an Instagram account. Nothing really came of it. It's literally me on like this iPhone SE. I was like, oh, can you just film this? And I'd just whack it up. And I didn't really ever think it would turn into what it turned into. But I met a guy called Adam who was on Britain's Got Talent doing this like stunt skating with another girl. I just so happened to meet him. He saw me roller skating and was like, Amy, do you want to do some pair skating with me? I was like,
I saw some of those clips. That looks so dangerous.
it's very, very, very dangerous. I'm doing like headbangers and, you know, all sorts. But I skated with him for a while, and we were training at Roller World, which was the rink in Colchester that I actually then became the head coach at. So I was working full time at the bar in Ipswich, and then Colchester was where the roller skating rink was. So I was trying to build clients up at Roller World whilst working a full time job in Ipswich. So it was, you know, like a half an hour commute every time, and I would be going back and forth, trying to build my little side business and work full time. And you know, I didn't live with my parents. Like I've moved out at 15. I moved out very young.
Yeah, wow.
So I've like been fully self-supporting my life. So I was like, oh my goodness, how am I going to build up my roller skating client base and work full time and pay rent and do my food shopping? And it was wild for probably about 6 months before I had enough clients at Roller World in person to actually then sustain moving over there and doing it full time.
That's so cool. So when you're saying that you're building up these clients, they were like one-on-one clients, like roller skating clients?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what, did you have a program, or were you just doing like one-on-one classes? How does it work?
Yeah, so I was teaching one-on-one classes during the day, and then on Saturdays and Sundays we did group classes, adult-only classes, kids classes. It was just, I was there 24/7. As soon as I moved to Colchester, was a full-time roller skating instructor. It was just 7 days a week. I loved it.
Wow.
I loved it so much. I literally lived there from 8 a.m. till 11 o'clock at night. I was there.
That's so cool. And so do you like, because I've actually heard that the roller skating business is actually a really big business right now. Like it's not a joke. Like I was in the sauna at Nirvana the other day, and there's this guy there. I don't know if you've met him. He's a French guy, but he does roller skating and inlines. He was a professional inline skater or something, but he's setting up all these roller skating businesses in China. And like he was telling me like some of the figures on these businesses, and it's a huge industry. It's like an up and coming thing, isn't it?
Well, it's actually just re-coming back. I mean, you know, think about the late 80s, early 90s. It was massive. It was absolutely huge. Everyone had a roller skate, either quad skate or inline skates. Everyone was ramp skating, disco music. It was kind of like the up and coming scene in like Chicago, the LGBTQ scene, and disco house music came in, and then everyone was on skates, and there'd be these roller discos. It was wild. And, you know, I started skating at kind of like 2007, and it was dead. I didn't know a single person that roller skated. It was just me and the club that I used to skate at. So any of my school friends were like, yeah, but it's not a real sport. You know, like I'm a figure skater on roller skates. So I do like, you know, think about jumps like axel, triple lutz that you'll see on ice skates. That is exactly what I do on roller skates.
Wow.
With the jumps and the spins and the dresses and all of that stuff. So, you know, there was a girl in my year when I was in high school. She was a javelin thrower, and she was 3rd in the country at javelin throwing. And I was British champion at roller skating. But she got all of this amazing, like, you know, she's 3rd in the country because her sport was recognized at the Olympics. Everyone was like, amazing, you're 3rd in the country. And I was like, but I'm British champion. Like, I am the best. And everyone was like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know.
Isn't that funny though, like how that happens? And we've just seen it with the Olympics, haven't we? Like, there were so many new sports in the Olympics this year. Like, even that you see these kids on the skateboards. Did you watch some of that?
Yeah, I love
Wasn't that so cool? Like the young kids, they're like 14-year-old kids like cruising around skateboarding, like amazing. Imagine how many Olympic Games they're going to get to in their lifetime. So what about roller skating? Why has roller skating been left out of the mix?
There's a lot of reasons roller skating has left out of the mix. There is many different forms of roller skating. So you have to think of it like dancing. You've got ballet, hip hop, jazz, like contemporary. There's all these different styles of dance, much like roller skating. So I'm artistic, which is figure skating. It's exactly the same as figure skating at the Winter Olympics. Then there's jam skating, which is like hip hoppy, break dancing, and then the list goes on. So artistic hasn't been in the Olympics because there's been much debate about the sport not actually being grown enough or developed enough. So you need to have 75 countries across the world for an Olympic sport to be recognized as worldwide enough to be an Olympic sport. And you need 40 countries of women participating, 75 countries of men participating. So artistic is big enough, but I don't think there is 75 countries where males are competing at a high enough level. Plus, there's also debate about our sport not being developed enough when it comes to like scoring systems and regulations, because you need like drug testing in all these countries. You need governing bodies, local governing bodies, and then you need national federations, and then they go, so it goes from like local, national, international, and then there needs to be international governing bodies, which we do have set up, but it struggles on the local and national side of things.
I didn't realize there was all these kind of rules about how that worked. I just thought, they thought, okay, breakdancing, we're going to do that this year just to jazz it up a bit, I thought, but I didn't realize there's all these
hoops.
So is that an ambition of yours? Are you advocating for roller skating as an Olympic sport? Like, is this part of your kind of mission or what? It is.
Yeah,
covert.
It's like a secret mission. It's definitely a covert mission. My primary mission is to get people up off the sofa and out on roller skates. It is such a wonderful, beautiful thing to do. It can be as sport-like or as recreational and fun and dancey as you want. There's something for everyone. You can go down ramps. You can just skate on the promenade at the beach. There's something for everyone. But my covert mission on the professional side is to get enough people up off the sofa for artistic skating specifically to be growing in many, many countries. Like earlier this year, I was invited to Jakarta, which is in the capital of Indonesia, to do some artistic roller skating workshops, and I've been to Cambodia. So all of these places where you wouldn't expect artistic roller skating to be popping up, and it's all because of social media. The more people that are joining the social media kind of wave of roller skating, the more places around the world I'm seeing roller skating popping up, and that is a really good thing, because that in turn it 10, 15
that's
years.
going to add to your covert mission.
Mission.
Yeah, cool.
Fully.
I love it. And what about that, like the business of roller skating? Like, what's your model? Because you say you do a lot of like training online, right? So like, which is quite a funny thing, because like we're in here in your room. You say you use this floor to do your classes and things, and I've seen your content with your spinner, which I'd love to talk about too at some point, because that's so interesting, that thing. And we'll get to that, but it's like this little shoe. What is it? It's like a little.
I've got it here.
Oh yeah. What is that?
It's just a little plate with a rocker on the bottom, so it can spin on a singular point on the floor. Yeah. And you use it to train spinning. But I'm sure we will get more into this a little bit later. Yeah, let's get more into
that, because that's super cool. It looks so fun. But the business of roller skating, right? So like, what's your model? Because you do online training, right? You specialize in spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like you've got your content creation, you're making content, and then like, do you have any products or anything like that as well? I'd like to just talk about like your business, like how you've turned your passion into your business.
Oh, it's such a great question. I was a kid. Like, I was actually a kid going into this world going, oh my God, I'm just going to create videos. And I think the next step always reveals itself. I don't feel like I had this huge business plan or a business. I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought, brilliant, people are following me because of roller skating, and that's awesome. And so the rink shut down back in 2020.
Yeah, this is the rink that you were working at. It was called what? Sorry?
Roller World.
And this is where you were doing your one-on-ones, and you were part of this.
And this was all in person, and I loved it so much. In Colchester, which is like an hour or two from London. And so the rink shut down after long debates with the landlord. He wanted everyone to be out so he could up the rent, and then he could get, it was horrendous. It was a long process to get back to normal. And after then, I was like, well, okay, I'm just going to leave to go to Asia. And I just, with no money, no plan, no idea where I was going to go, I just packed up and left after it shut. And I was like, well, if I can teach it in person, I must be able to teach it online. So I started teaching it online. I just offered on my Instagram. I was like, Zoom lessons. And it was like the most least professional thing I've ever done. It was like, just bank transfer me the money and then we'll just like figure out a time and then I'll give you a Zoom link and then we'll just work it out from there. So that's how it happened. I just started like picking up more and more clients and I realized, oh my goodness, these people are actually progressing. Like at one point they couldn't skate and now they can skate and spin and turn and jump and dance. And I'm like, oh, it works.
Well, how cool is that?
I had no trust that my product was going to work. But now after years of doing it, I know that for a fact, I have incredible skaters that couldn't skate at one point. So that happened. And I think only when you get to that point do you then think about, okay, how do I iron out all the creases? So at the beginning, it was just like, oh yeah, just use PayPal and do this and do that. But now I use a software and then they can book on my calendar and then they book in their one-to-ones and then everyone's on a subscription. So they either have a lesson weekly or fortnightly. But now I have kind of maxed that out. I've progressed through that. So now I'm in a business transition period. Yeah. So I've changed to now doing 6-week intensive programs. So people will sign on for a 6-week group class where they have one lesson per week for 6 weeks and then they will have a desired outcome. So learn to spin or master some footwork or whatever it might be that I'm offering. And then I can now earn, you know, a lot more because I'm not exchanging 1 hour of my time for X amount of money. Instead, I have 49 maximum seats in my courses. And then I'll charge, for example, just like £100 for this 6-week program. Then you're earning, you know, £4,900 as opposed to, you know, a couple of hundred per month per person.
Got it.
So you can kind of expand sideways. So I've driven down the road and now I'm trying to expand outwards to get the most efficient, business model for my time.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like what you've done there, like super intuitive. Did you learn any of this stuff or you just been doing it on the fly?
You just learn it on the way.
Yeah, this is cool because that's what you would call like in the business or startup world, like what you would call an MVP. So a minimum viable product.
Oh,
Have you heard about that?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not most valued player, like a javelin friend, but like MVP, minimum viable product. So it's basically like you just hack something together to test the idea. Okay, it's working, and then you iron out the creases later, right? Like you're saying.
For sure.
So now you've created systems. Now you maxed out on those systems, and now you need to like go through the change of making something else, right? So. And I guess there's so much more you could really, like you could be recording these classes, right? You could have an online program, like do it yourself kind of situation, right? Yeah. So it's that's super cool that you have got there. Like you're just completely, it's just intuitive. Yeah.
I think I have a very active mind. I don't know if I'm not diagnosed with anything like ADHD, but I definitely am hitting some.
You're on the spectrum a little bit. Yeah, I think I am too.
Yeah. And I'm not really one to I don't need labels, but I do know that my brain is very hyperactive and it's quick. I'm very quick and I come up with 1,010 different ideas. And I think it's really important to know when to quit. So I have 110 ideas and I'll actually pursue probably 50 of them. But then I'm very quick to say, no, that's not right. That doesn't work. Move on to the next thing. I think holding on to an idea to the bitter end is not the way to do it. You need to test out all your different ideas and you have to kind of see which ones work and then you pursue that. I've had millions of different ideas. One of the ideas that I actually did for the first time this year actually, was do a retreat. So I have all these online clients and I'm like, well, what do I do with them? So I booked a huge, gorgeous villa in Greece for May this year or earlier this year. And I invited all my students there to come on a roller skating retreat. And we had a private chef and it was very luxury. And we had a, 200 square meter basketball court, perfectly flat, just attached to the house. So that we had roller skating lessons there. Oh,
that's so cool.
It was incredible. But you see, one idea goes to the next. So I think I would have never had the idea to do a retreat if I'd have never, had online clients one-to-ones, because you build such personal relationships with one-to-ones that when you go into the groups, you don't have, a really strong bond. So me doing a retreat with all of my one-to-one students was so deep and so personal because I've been speaking to them for the last year and a half. Whereas, so I managed to do a retreat, and all these ideas kind of move on from the next to the next to the next. So yeah, I love it. I love the journey.
That's so cool. So what inspired you to go to Greece? Had you been there before skating, or you just you knew the venue, or what was the connection there?
Well, actually, it just took me 6 months every day scouring the internet for the perfect venue, because I knew what I pictured in my mind, and I wasn't going to settle for less. I wasn't just going to hire some sports hall, and I wanted an all-in-one venue where it had like a pool, a sauna, all these different bedrooms. I wanted an outdoor seating area. I wanted a roller skating floor, and I wanted it to be in a hot country. So, there was a lot of
factors then
points. So it took me a long time to find the venue.
But isn't that so cool as well? Like, this is something that I'm getting used to, right? Because I'm not really I'm getting used to this nomad thing. It's not, because I just recorded something the other day. Like, I've started doing this like weekly vlog thing where I just kind of record my experience, and like, I think it can seem like this really glorified thing, and it's fun, like, because like you're saying there, the world becomes your playground, like if you were living in London or Colchester, you probably wouldn't expand the bounds of like what was possible, right? But because we're like living like this, like in a suitcase with our tech tubs, like, we're just laughing because we both had like these little tech kits with all these little plugs and little things. You start to kind of expand what's possible in terms of like what you can do, right? And so there is that side of it as well, which is so, like, it really expands your thinking and kind of like your ideas, where you can really push things, and connecting. Like, your clients, for example, like, where are they all from?
Literally all over the world. I've got clients in Hong Kong, Singapore. I've got clients in all over Europe. So I've got Poland, UK, Spain, anywhere. US is huge. So it literally is global. Whereas if you're in person, you've only got people in your local area, from where you are stood, and an hour maximum around you. That is your reach. Whereas if you do things online, you can have clients from absolutely anywhere in the entire globe. And that is infinite, which I think this is the best way forwards for businesses these days, especially if you're doing something creative, or you're teaching, or you're providing a service. Fully just go online. It's a weird transition, I have to admit. Like, it's a bizarre world.
Well, I did the same thing, right? Like, the work that I do is in collaboration design. So we would bring in like whiteboards and run workshops. And then when COVID happened, we had to go through this whole transition where we basically had to build a TV studio and learn how to do everything online, So instead of like scribing on a whiteboard, you would do it on like an iPad, and then have the feed go into the Zoom call, so they can still it's still kind of got that interactive like element to it, creative aspect to it. But there's a big learning curve, and there's a real lot to get used to in that too. And I think that there's like, what you're doing there is very clever, because you've got the online aspect of it where you're doing one-on-one, but then you're also creating space for like intimate, like in-person connection, like experiences.
Yes. I think that's so important. Yeah. Connecting. I think since COVID, I saw this huge shift in the whole world, where it was just, everyone was scared of each other. Everyone was, not standing near each other. And it took a long time for people to readjust back to connecting. And even now you'll see it. People will prefer to like stay in, or you see the nightclub scene. It's dying after COVID.
I never go out. Is it really? What's going on out there in Canggu?
Oh, not here. The night scene is very much alive here.
But you mean in London and
yeah, fully. It's all just dying because people are so used to just being inside, and I think connection is so important. And roller skating specifically is a community driven sport, not professional artistic roller skating. That's like cutthroat, bitchy mums, or like it's very
Oh wow.
it's very much like what you see in the movies, like ice skating movies, where it's like all, not fun. But the recreational skate scene, which is what I'm part of now, it's all about love, acceptance, inclusivity. It's so beautiful.
What about the roller derby? You ever get into that?
Yeah,
That's rough.
that is rough.
I lived in San Francisco for a little while, and that shit's crazy. Those chicks are they'll kill you.
For anyone that doesn't know, it's like rugby on roller skates. So it literally is like, full blown rugby tackles whilst wearing wheels. And do you know what the most amazing thing about roller skating, roller derby, is that it's a female driven sport.
It
so
is.
You have roller derby and men's derby. It's not like football where it's like football and women's football. It's roller derby and men's roller derby, which I think is extra cool.
It's cool. Yeah, no, I like that they always have these really cool team names and like
Yeah.
all these like really badass like roller derby names, you know. So it's cool. Yeah, like I got exposed a little bit to that culture, and then there's also like the skate park kind of like roller skaters, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's a different vibe again, right?
Yeah, we call them park skaters. So you've got park skaters, which are like ramps and flips and all that kind of stuff. Then you've got artistic, which is jumps, spins, competitions.
Yeah.
Very professional, slick skate style. And then you've got derby, obviously, which is like rugby, which is a sport. Then you've got jam skating, which is hip hop on skates. Then you've got rhythm and JB, which is like smooth rink skating. So there's so many different
It's like niche
in
and a niche and a niche and a niche.
For
so
sure.
Interesting. And just talking about that community side of things as well, right? Because I think that's something that I've been hearing about a lot with business, online business, and I think there's a real push for that right now. A lot of companies are trying to build like online communities, and I don't know if you've been like following what's going on there, like on Skool. You have you thought about building a Skool community?
Well, I'm building a Mighty Networks instead.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I've weighed up the two platforms.
Okay,
Skool and Mighty Networks.
Can you tell us what you've learned about that?
So Skool is a brilliant platform, but there's like a leaderboard, but it's based on engagement. So it's like if you are engaged in the community, you can level up. That's one thing I didn't like about it, but you can have multiple different courses. It's very user friendly, and what's his name?
Alex Hormozi.
Alex Hormozi's just come on board and is an investor, so it's going to blow up now. But when I was weighing up community-based platforms, what I envision for my own is something so specific and to have multiple different areas that you can join and sign up to.
Yeah.
And Mighty Networks was so customizable. It is 10 times more confusing to build it.
Yeah.
But it is for sure more malleable. You can literally turn it into exactly what you want.
Because there's a few of them. I've been looking at them too, actually, because I'd like to build something too for like purpose-led businesses and just put all my knowledge on there that I've learned, like, because I've just been designing workshops for the last 10 years, right, for strategy, business, purpose, mission, vision, values, strategic priorities, blah, 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 all the things. And I also want to do like what you're doing where I like, I can do the online coaching, but then I could take companies away for a retreat and I could have their whole strategic plan like designed in this really nice, intimate, like kind of 3 or 4 day workshop, brilliant. in an Airbnb or something. But I also looked, there was Circle. Did you look at that one too?
Yeah, not as in depth, but yeah, I do know.
I'm in a Circle community. I'm in a Skool community. I like both of them. It took me a little while to get used to Skool's like interface because I find it really like Facebooky or something.
Yeah.
Which is probably what makes it accessible to a lot of people. But as a designer, I'm like, oh, I don't like the look of it.
I just found it looked very.
Let's put the mic to. Oh yeah.
I just found it looked very childish, like just like a white screen with just like blocks everywhere, and you couldn't choose the colors, your brand colors. You can't input your
no
brand.
rainbows.
Yeah, I know. I was not going to do that then.
Yeah, no, I'd like to explore that a bit too. I think that's a good way to go for business. But then what's your plan then, like up and coming? So you've got your programs, you've got your one-on-one coachings, you've kind of experimented with retreats, which is super cool. Like what's the next kind of like hurdle or the next thing? You kind of you kind of mentioned it, right? That you maxed out with the so is it group sessions? Is it evergreen programs? Like what exactly is it?
My group programs are still pretty new, so I'm only in the 3rd or 4th cohort of the 6-week program. So I'm still kind of doing due diligence, seeing if things work, seeing how people respond, seeing the feedback from it. Because obviously everyone does a little bit of a survey after to say like what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would have preferred in the program, if it was too difficult or if I taught too quickly. So I'm still receiving feedback on that. But I am loving the 6-week programs. They're very easy to do. And, you know, I'm doing 49 hours worth of work in 1 hour, you know, as opposed to if I was doing one-to-ones. To get that much information out there to 49 people, it would take me 49 hours a week, whereas I can just do it all in one now.
Is that a group program you're saying?
Yeah.
So you do one Zoom call or something where you've got your class and they're all on their Zooms. Yeah. Can they all see each other as well?
So that you can choose whether you can just see me or you can see the whole you know, group of people.
So they're all in there with their roller skates on and you're what, do you play music and stuff as well? Or
no, it's just me going through technique. So the current program that I'm running is 6 to spin.
Okay.
And it's 6 weeks to learn how to spin from zero, not being able to skate. And I teach them how to spin on 2 feet, 1 foot, teach them how to do a few other different spins. And I kind of do it. So we do like a practice exercise. So an exercise to help with balance or weight distribution inside your skate or whatever. Then I'll go through the manuals. So how to do the spin without the spin.
Yep.
Where does your body go? What is the technique? What is the timing? Then we go on to adding rotation. Then I'll just go through all of the common problems that are associated that I've seen. I mean, I've taught for years and years and years. I already know the problem that you will have when you learn to spin. I already know it's one of these 5 problems. Your arms are too low, or you're looking down, or your weight is in the wrong place. I can already tell.
You're looking at them and you're telling, like, you're able to see from the Zoom, and you can call out to them and say, hey, Jenny, you've got to, you know, do this thing or whatever. That's super cool, huh? And so, okay, so now you've got these group programs going, and then is the next step then to maybe like record, like do some online programs, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've tried to record them so many times, but I always I'm such a perfectionist because I know what it took to get me to the point that I am.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to condense so many years of knowledge into just a simple step-by-step program. There's so many small parts and nuances and, but this only relates to these things. That's not across the board, but these skills are across the board. So there's so much to it, which I really struggle with, which is why I've decided to not, instead of doing this like big, like learn to be an incredible roller skater program, I'm doing mini courses that is way more bite-sized and easy for me to do.
I think that's the trend, you know, like micro learnings.
Yeah.
And like, have you had any coaching?
Yeah, I was coached.
Business coaching though?
Oh no, not business coaching. I'm just winging it.
You're learning this all like just from online YouTube, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna ask you another question, then I'm gonna go and get this camera back going on. Okay, you're gonna keep talking, but the question is, if someone is out there and they've got this passion and like, you know, like you said, it's something which you thought roller skating, you know, was your DJing was your roller skating was your DJing.
Yeah. Like,
what advice do you have to somebody who might be out there who's, you know, maybe got something kind of unique like that, and they haven't really, you know, had the guts or the foresight to kind of think, oh, actually maybe that's something that's valuable. You know, somebody that wants to pursue their passion but hasn't had the you know, I don't even know how to say, had the maybe haven't had the insight to know that it was possible. Let's
Such
talk
a great
to that.
question.
Keep going. I'm going to go and get this camera going.
I would say to them that you have absolutely nothing to lose, but potentially you have everything you ever wanted to gain. And I think that's so important to recognize that only you are going to see all the embarrassing things that you do or all the learning that you're doing. Everyone else is way too busy doing their own lives and worrying about themselves to worry about what you're doing. So you pursuing your dream is the only way you're going to fulfill yourself. Like, I was doing a normal job and I was absolutely miserable. And I think as soon as I started to not care what anyone else was thinking and I just pursued what I loved, I found this new love for life. So I would just say go for it. There is nothing is wrong, by doing it, but you could gain literally everything you ever wanted. For sure.
And where would you start, you think? Like you had like, let's just say somebody's, you like how you did it, like with your MVP, like we mentioned before. Like, how do you think someone should start their idea? Like because to me, like, it's like, find the way that's the quickest way you can just kind of test the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it fails, like, that seems like something that you're very good at, is failing fast.
Oh, yeah.
Like, like, huh?
Failure is something I'm very good at.
Maybe it's just like, well, I mean, that's what they say is like the key to successful entrepreneurship is like learning how to fail.
Yeah.
And just move on to the next thing. Like, you test something, you okay. But it doesn't mean that idea is a bad idea. It just means like you need to iterate on the idea, right?
Yeah.
So like how would somebody like test or know if they've got something they can work with?
Well, I think definitely if you're going down the social media, online coaching route, your first point of call is make a social media account. And I think that's the most daunting thing for anyone, because suddenly becoming an influencer when you have like 800 followers and the only people that follow you is your grandma, your mum, and your friends from high school, and you're suddenly coming online going, so hi guys, these are my new roller skates and they are from Adea, and you just start talking like this and you just think, oh my goodness, everyone's going to think I'm such a tool. But that everyone goes through that. Every single person that you follow on social media at one point was a cringe person talking to their phone with 800 followers. But it's only through, and that's why everyone that has loads and loads of followers or like, has this online business, they do deserve it, because everyone's gone through the cringe. Everyone goes through a cringe phase where you're talking to your phone, you sound weird, you look weird, you're uncomfortable. So you must make sure you go through that phase. First point of call is make a social media account, because what this does is it actually teaches you so many skills, like to not care what other people are thinking, to talk on camera is such a skill, which I didn't know was a skill until I realized I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Someone put a camera and said, oh, right, just tell me how your day was. I'd be like, and I'd have to do 55 takes. So learning how to hold yourself in front of camera, hold yourself in front of people, and just start off by just offering your services. And even if you don't have like all of the kinks ironed out, just go for it. I was getting payments through PayPal. Send them I used to send them.
It's so good though. You've just worked it out. I love it. Yeah, send them a Zoom link and then
just have an offer. Go on your story, say your offer. I am running artistic roller skating lessons online. They're 1 hour and I'm going to charge £15, because I used to charge next to nothing because I didn't know that my service worked. I had no idea. Now I charge way more than that because I know that my product works. I've got 16 years of experience. Like, you end up, your accolades will start to stack. And I think when you've got enough, Alex Hormozi says this. He says, when you have enough undeniable evidence to support that you are who you say you are, then you can start charging more and you can start feeling confident. Because I didn't feel confident in my abilities as an online instructor until I had 20 people that couldn't skate and now they can skate, spin, turn, jump, whatever. And then I've got proof to myself. which means my prices can increase. And then you have testimonials and trust, and that starts building. And then you use the testimonials and all of the trust that you've built online to share that to new skaters. Then people are like, oh, well, Jenny's suddenly being able to spin on roller skates and she's incredible. I want lessons. And then it's word of mouth. And, you know, your brand will start to grow and develop as it comes. Like, I didn't know who I was and my mission statement and my purpose and all of this before I started. I was just like, I really want to teach skating.
It's so intuitive, right? Like, because the purpose, the statements that you make, they're really just writing down the thing that's already there, you know, and they're useful when you start building a team. But you're not going to have those things like worked out like specifically when you first start. It's intuitive. You're just following where your passion, where the inspiration is, you know. And the energy flows. I've been listening to a little bit of Rick Rubin. I don't know if you know Rick Rubin. He's like a hip hop producer, but he's not really like front facing. You know, he's kind of like this. He doesn't look like a hip hop guy. You know, he's like this white guy with like this big white beard, and he's very, very creative guy. But he talks about the creative process and projects and how it's like not linear, and it's all about following like where the energy is. And maybe he's got a few projects going and one loses energy, then he'll go to the next one, then he'll get some more insight and he'll go back to that one. And it's completely intuitive, but yeah, it's just like, you know, I think that's very similar with building a business, because when you're building a business that's in line with your passion, it becomes your project, like a piece of art that you're molding like every day, right?
I could not. The whole time you were saying that, I felt my legs suddenly like go goosebumpy, because it's so true. And I always used to beat myself up for, I didn't do well in school. I did not enjoy school. I struggled with it, not academically, but like the social construct of school and having to just look at the board and memorize stuff and exams. And I just was like, I do not fit in to that world. So being an entrepreneur is like fantastic for me. But then I also would beat myself up because I'm like, oh, I'm meant to be doing this and stick to a schedule, and I'm a business owner, so I must, you know, work a 9 to 5 in my own business. And it's so not true. When I finally came to the conclusion that I work solely on passion and energy, like where does it flow to? I know that I've got deadlines, like you must do your taxes, you must do these things, you must reply to clients, but on the grand scheme of things, like if I have bursts of inspiration, trust me, I'll pull an all-nighter because I feel bursts of inspiration. And I think that's really important to recognize, that you don't have to have set working hours. You don't have to have set projects that you have to do. Your business is yours, and it's a reflection of who you are and how you work. And I am chaotic, messy, disorganized, crazy, all these things. And that comes out.
You can skate.
But I'm a really good skater. But that comes out in my business. And the beauty of it comes out in the fact that I'll stay up until 5 a.m. creating Instagram reels because I feel like it. But then I won't do anything for 3 days because I'm absolutely exhausted and I'm just not fired up.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to go with the flow. And
I really believe that. And just like speaking about the content creation stuff too, I find that really interesting. Like content creation for me, it's not been something that I've been able to be really consistent with, and I feel like I'm finding my feet with it. Like I love doing this. You know, this for me is, I love this. I love talking to people, learning about their business, learning about their passion. But this is a very like labor intensive kind of thing. You know, I got to like cut, there's 3 cameras here. That one's just gone out. I got to, you know, sort this out, audio. And then there's, you know, cutting reels from this and everything, but it's not something I've been able to do consistently. And then also like choosing channels, you know? So what is your creative process like in terms of making your content? And like how have you chosen your channels? And then I want to ask you some more content questions, but let's start there.
A total mess. I have to be honest, I never set out to be a content creator or influencer. I just posted random videos on Instagram. And I didn't even know why I was doing it. And I used to feel really embarrassed and I'd be like, oh, cringe. Because I didn't even own social media until I created my Instagram account in lockdown.
And how cool is that? I don't know, we didn't mention this, but Rainbow is your real name.
Yeah, it's not just an Instagram name.
It's
Rainbow
a real name.
Is my birth name, which is pretty cool. Not that anyone believes me. But the Instagram journey was very slow. I mean, the followers went up quite relatively fast, and that actually scared me a lot because I was like, oh my goodness, now I have to be an influencer. I was so like cringed out by it, didn't like it at all. And a lot of the time I would like be really into it, and then I'd just come off it and not use it for 3 months. And then I'd be,
oh, really? So you haven't like had like a consistent streak?
no way. But I think the reason my account grew and it became successful was because it was very, very unique in the sense that I only posted within my lane. I only posted roller skating content. Then, in particular, I was artistic roller skating. So I was like a niche within a niche. So all the people that were into artistic roller skating, my account got pushed to them because there was no confusion. I didn't confuse the algorithm by posting my dog 1 minute, my breakfast the next minute, and then roller skating. It was solely roller skating content.
Oh, is that to do with the algorithm, the niche?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. I thought that was more. That makes so much sense now.
Because the
Just
algorithm
shows you how I just have no idea about social media.
I'll give you a quick like overview of it. So the algorithm needs to categorize you because otherwise it has no idea who to share your videos to.
Got it.
So if I'm a roller skater and I post my cat, my dog, my breakfast, and then my holidays, it's like, okay, well, we'll show you to random people, and it will show it to random people. And then whether they respond to it well enough, it will get pushed out to the next set. And if they respond well, it will get pushed out again.
Okay.
So if people are following you for for like, they don't know why they follow you, they just like you and they're your friend, you know, it won't go it will go to your friends, but then it will get pushed to the next people, to strangers, and they're like, well, I don't know. Who is this person? Yeah. Whereas the algorithm knows, okay, so all the people that like roller skating, we're going to send them Amy Rainbow's videos because she only posts roller skating content. You know, and then it goes out into the world, only getting spread to the people that are more likely to respond well to my videos. So yeah,
that's interesting.
Pick a niche.
Okay, because I just did Tom Noski. I don't know if you know him, but he's like a social media like content creator. Well, he was a photographer, videographer, and now he's like got this social media course called Time to Build, and I did it recently. And he was saying, oh, don't have a niche. But I think he was more saying like don't niche down, you know, because you want to show your personality. Like if you're a, you know, wedding photographer, maybe you would post wedding photography, but you might also share a little bit about the fact that you like collecting something random, stamps or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
personal branding.
Yeah. But like your personal branding is like really niche because it's like not only is it just focused on skating, but it's focused on what's the type of skating you said? Artistic skating. So that's a niche. You've niched down.
So Tom Nosk, actually,
it's Tom Noski, by the way.
Noski.
I was calling him Tom Nosk, but it's Tom Noski.
So I actually saw a video the other day on this exact topic of him saying you don't need a niche, and then there was this girl saying, but his niche is.
I think that was my video.
It was your video. Yeah, it must have been actually. I was looking on your page. Yeah, Tom Noski doesn't have a niche. Does have a niche because his niche is don't have a niche. And it's like, well, you know, you have to. You can just be one of these like pretty girls that do TikTok dances, you know, like, and then they go and do like some lifestyle stuff. But their niche is, look how pretty I am. Look, I've got long eyelashes, I'm beautiful. You know, that's still your niche. Yes, you might be surfing one day, doing TikTok dances the next day, cooking breakfast the next day, but your niche is look how attractive I am. Now, Instagram is all about, or social media is all about providing service. You know, what value can I give someone else? You not niching down doesn't give anyone value because they don't know why they're following you.
Yeah.
You know, if you follow me, you know the service I provide to you is roller skating inspiration, cool skating videos in the middle of the road. Then you've got like tutorial videos, and you know what I'm bringing to the table. And then only then do I think that you can start opening up into this is what I like. This is my favorite color. This is what I did on holiday last week. Because people have now, they know who you are, why they follow you. Then they start falling in love with you as a person. Then I think people follow you because they like you. You know, so what I would suggest is like on your main feed, always post your niche content. But on your story, honestly, I'm on my story all the time, just like talking nonsense. Like, this is what happened to me today. Look at where I am. Look, I'm learning to ride a motorbike. You know, it's nothing to do with roller skating, but it's on my story. People get to know who I am.
Got it. What about TikTok? Like, are you using TikTok?
Yeah.
What do you think about TikTok?
I've got similar following on both accounts, and TikTok's always been a bit of a hit and miss for me. Sometimes I'm really into it, sometimes I'm not. But everyone at the beginning would just used to like split post and post the same thing on Instagram and TikTok. And the more I've been on TikTok, the more I realized that TikTok does not
different platform, right? It's more entertainment and storytelling. And what I am picking up with TikTok is it likes long form content, and Instagram's like short, like brand niche stuff. And then like you could probably do your talk, you know, story talks on TikTok.
Yes, that's what I do. I mean, it's hard, like you're trying to run a business, you got to deal with clients, you're doing programs, and then like to worry about doing different platform content is like.
Well, I get that. I think it's challenging, you know, and I'm trying to find my spot with it all too, because I don't think my clients are really on Instagram. You know, I work with like executive teams and governments and CEOs and things like that. So for me, really, I've got to focus on LinkedIn and X, actually, I think is where I need to play. So that's a journey that I'm kind of going on right now. I've just started like blocking all my apps. I showed you the other day. On this Opal app, I've started blocking all my apps except for X, because I'm trying to like focus on trying to get to learn that platform. And then I'm like, you know, I'm doing YouTube, but I mean, YouTube is apparently it's a really, really long game.
Yeah, I'd say 2 years.
Yeah. And like Tom Noski, he told me, he's like, you know, with podcasts, he goes, hold your breath for 400 episodes. He's like, nothing's going to happen for 400 episodes. You just got to keep putting content out. And then like, you know, this podcast has not been very regular. Like, it takes me ages to release an episode, maybe even a month, because, you know, like you're saying, I'm juggling client work, and the work I do is not like, it's complicated work. I'm working with like systems change and stuff. So then like cutting the episode, making sure it's right, the edits, the audio, the reels, like it, you know, so that's why I've decided to do another channel where I just do one video vlog a week. So at least I'm like putting something out a week, but then the podcasts are like a special thing where, you know, I do it like when I can release it properly. But it's just like, so if you could get burnt out really easily. I think a lot of creators do get burnt out.
For sure. Oh my goodness, it's so difficult to work a full-time job, whether that be your business or working a 9 to 5 or for someone. And then on top of that, you have a full-time job of content creation. So the video process, everyone just thinks, oh, you just post a video, easy. No, it is like you have to think of the idea.
Yeah.
You then have to plan the content. You then have to set up and actually film the content. Then you have to go through and cut down all the videos so that you can edit it together. Now you have to find some music to put it to, or, you know, voiceover or do something like that. Then you have to create the video, edit it, and then write a caption for it. Now you have to make a cover photo for it for your Instagram account. Then you post it. And it's not done yet. You now have to read all the comments and reply back to them to keep engagement up. You have to post it to your story and put something engaging so that they can click on the bleeding video and go and watch it. Oh my goodness. And you are supposed to do this every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's a challenge.
And then you have to do that on multiple different platforms.
Well, that's right. So that's why I like you hear people like, I don't know if you've come across Matt Gray, but he's probably not maybe somebody you might have come across, because he's more like a business like executive coach, you know what I mean? I've been following a little bit of his stuff. And he says just choose 2 platforms. And I think you said something the other day, like choose your primary platform,
Yeah.
right?
And a secondary,
And a
then
secondary.
a experimental.
Yeah.
One that you just do not care about, but you're just
Yeah.
trying to like learn it. So my primary is Instagram, my
Yeah.
secondary is TikTok, and then my experimental is like YouTube Shorts, or
Got it.
it could be Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's kind of like I'd love to chat to you more about that offline actually. But on that, where would somebody find you? Like if they wanted to find more of your content or maybe even do one of your programs.
Well, you definitely should get up off the sofa, put some roller skates on, and join my program. It's a lot of fun. And funnily enough, people that join my programs, sometimes they're in the same area, and then they end up being skate friends.
In the same window.
Yeah.
In the Zoom window.
Yeah, and then they end up joining the class together, skating together. It's so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. But how would you find me? On Instagram. And
What's your handles?
Amy Rainbow Skates.
And I'll also put that down below there.
Yeah, that's me. It's the same across all platforms, to be honest. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube I don't really do. But mainly, if you're not a roller skater, you're definitely going to get more value from my Instagram because it's fun to watch. And even non-roller skaters love watching someone do crazy tricks. However, my TikTok is very much me doing these like weird...
I haven't looked at your TikTok.
Don't look at my TikTok. So there's a TV program, a Disney show called Soy Luna, and on TikTok I do like I've got a little microphone and I talk about skating technique, wheels, very technical stuff. So it's me just answering questions. But I found a niche in my TikTok. So I posted a video. I found out that so it's all in Spanish, so it didn't get aired in the UK. But when I was younger, at the same time Disney Channel was like popping, there was a show called Soy Luna, and it was all about a roller skating team. And it was a proper Disney show. It was huge, but I never knew about it.
The name sounds familiar to me.
You might know, because honestly, it was massive. And I didn't know because it never got aired in the UK. So it was only about a year ago that I found out that there was this TV show called Soy Luna on Disney, all about roller skating. It's like, you know, those little TV shows about like a dance troupe. But this one was a roller skating troupe.
Wow.
And they had a studio and an instructor, and they'd have competitions, and it was like super cheesy. But so I just put on my TikTok one day, guys, did you know that there is like, and I put the image of Soy Luna, there was a TV show called la 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 la, literally millions of views. And I was like,
wow,
Soy Luna seems to be a big hit. So I started downloading the Soy Luna competition videos, and then I would voice
commentate.
over. I would.
That's such a good idea.
I would commentate on these videos.
How'd they go?
I was shocked. Now my normal videos get no views because everyone's just put in my comment section like, can you commentate on...
Why don't you commentate the breakdancing at the Olympics, the Aussie breakdancing? Be good. That's going viral.
Yeah. But I didn't realize how big Soy Luna was going to be. And now it's ruined it because now I'm literally the only one Soy Luna content, because I'll post my normal content. It's like 20,000 views. Yeah,
Soy Luna, bring back the Soy Luna.
And then on my Soy Luna content, it's like 500,000, 205,000. Like it's just...
What was there one piece of content that like you posted one day and it just blew up like on Instagram? Like it was nothing, and then boom, something happened. What was it?
Goodness. It's never the one that you put loads of effort into. It's not ever going to be your big trick. It's never going to be the one that you've spent 2 hours editing together. No. Do you know what mine was? I just passed my phone to some random guy, and then I undid one of my roller skates, pushed off, took my roller skate off, put it underneath my bum, and then just went like this, and I was sat just on my roller skate that was off my foot, and I'm just literally sitting on my roller skate like this and just cruising like that. It literally, and bearing in mind now 50,000 views is not huge in comparison to my account.
But it's enough to get the flywheel turning, right?
But back then I was like, 50,000 people have seen my video and got like 2,000 likes, and you know, for little me who had no idea about social media, I'd only just made my account like a couple of months ago, to then see it climbing like that was crazy. But you know, I was doing tricks and spins and turns and jumps. No one was interested. They just wanted me to see me to sit on my roller skate and just like cruise like a
around.
skateboard, literally.
That's so interesting. You hear a lot of stories like that. So do you have any upcoming retreats or anything like that? You got another one in the works?
Yes, I'm running basically. So my first retreat was only for my students. It was only for my clients, so it was really small. And this time I've booked, there was 2 identical villas next to each other with 2 basketball courts, 2 big swimming pools. So this year in May, I have booked both of them.
Right.
And we're doing basically exactly the same retreat, private chef, same venue, classes, all that. But it's going to be open to anyone. So anyone from social media.
Where do they find that? Where do people find that?
It's not released yet. It will be released at the end of September. And it will be on Instagram, yeah.
You got like a link tree or
Link
something?
in my bio, yeah.
Link in bio?
Link in bio.
And,
it's so cringe saying that out loud.
I love saying it. Link in bio.
Link in bio.
And anything else? Did we leave anything out about your programs, or is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap up this episode?
No, I definitely think that's everything on my business. I just want to say that I think it's really important to not overthink things. You just try every idea, fail at most of them, and then just quit really quickly, because I see it a lot in the roller skating community. People start things and it's not working, they just keep pushing to make it happen, and it's just like, no, give up, try something new, because that one idea will stick and that will be the one that pops off.
So you're saying, like, if you're trying to push something then it's not working out, let it go,
leave it,
and move on to the next thing, because the universe doesn't want that thing to come through, right?
And it's ego. It'll always be your ego fighting against God's plan, the universe's plan, whatever you think, whatever you believe in. Like, I believe there is a set plan. Yes, you have free will and you can move in and out of things, but I do believe that there are things that are meant for you. And if you're trying to do something that is not meant for you, but there's actually, if you just let this one go, new ideas can come. You only have a set amount of energy, and put your energy into the things that are the path of least resistance,
Yeah.
And it's always ego when it comes down to like, no, but I've released it online, and I have to do it now because everyone's going to see publicly my failure. Yeah. No way. I was going to host a massive online roller skating competition, and I had the biggest roller skaters in the world, people with like hundreds of thousands of followers, some of the best roller skaters I knew. They were going to come on as judges. I had contracts done. They signed contracts, everything. I had the biggest skate companies in the world giving me like £1,000 of prize money, all that.
Wow.
And at the end, I was like, this isn't right. Wrong timing. I listened to my gut, wrong timing. So I just was like, nope, not happening anymore. And it's that shameless cutting of things. No, I didn't let anyone down. That's the thing. If people have paid for a service, you can't just quit. You have to follow through. But when it comes down to like idea creation, that idea will happen and it will come to pass.
When it's ready.
And it wasn't the right time. So publicly, I was just like, guys, it's not the right time. It will come eventually. And I had to embarrass myself in front of all these people, the companies, the brands that wanted to get involved. But I knew it wasn't right. But it will happen. But
yeah, that's
to
amazing. Well, how old are you? Sorry, if you don't
23.
Mind. 23. Wow, a lot of wisdom from a 23-year-old. It's like not just knowledge, but wisdom. It's like fully embodied in it, and I think that's amazing. Sometimes it takes people a lifetime to get to that place. Where they totally will trust their intuition like that. And some people never get there. So. Anyway, thank you so much. It's been so good to be here and have a chat with you. And I'm glad I caught you before you
I'm literally jumping on an airplane.
Rolled out of here. When? Tomorrow?
Literally tomorrow or the next day, halfway across the world. So you caught me at a good time.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad I saw you walking around with your tripod yesterday. I was like, oh, what are you up to do? Doing something interesting, content creation.
What would you have initially thought I was a content creator for?
I hadn't really thought about it. I thought I knew you were doing something creative, like when I saw you guys chatting downstairs, but I hadn't really thought about like what that would have been. A lot of people here do like marketing or like maybe a travel influencer,
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Well, it's you kind of do a little bit, right? but no, I didn't. Definitely didn't think it was something like skating.
As ridiculous as roller skating.
Oh no, it's serious. It's a serious business. I've come to learn that. It's like, wow, you know. And I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to inspire other people, because everyone's got something that they are really good at, maybe something they do privately where, they don't think it's like something worth of value or to share. And I think it's really important to kind of get those messages out, because, potentially if we could just help one person get inspired to, get their thing and start actually treating it like, it's their gift to the world, and that they can start inspiring others to do the same, then, that for me would be a win for this podcast.
All worth it if someone takes that leap. I think it's
100%.
Because you are in a world where you are taught to follow the system, go to university, don't step out of line, don't ask questions, follow the leader. And I think it's very brave and forward thinking to just be like, no, I'm going to create my own path. I'm going to forge my own way. I think there's a lot of people out there that would love to do that, but they are so enclosed in the system that they don't even know that that's possible. So people like you, sharing other people's journeys and your own journey into becoming free, I think is so important, because the more information that is out there to show people, look, there's another way. Yeah. You can live a life that you didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, there's people that would love the thing that you do, and they want to know more about it, but you just kind of gotta get it out there. Go for it. So on that note, thanks for joining. If you've got to the end of this episode of Design on Purpose, and you can get onto Amy Rainbow Skates Instagram account and check out the programs and the content there. And some more kind of weird Sol Luna stuff on TikTok. I'll put the links down below. And if you don't already, like and subscribe to the channels here on YouTube. And you can find us obviously on Spotify and all the podcasting channels. And you can also find me at Rixley on Instagram, at Captain Rixley on X. I'm getting on X. And at Captain Rixley on TikTok. And yeah, that's it. That's it for a wrap for another episode of Design on Purpose. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Amy.
Bye-bye.